Um, Good morning. We are here at Brazilian Training and Development Congress at Promagno, São Paulo, and I'm having the pleasure to talk to Brit Andrada, one of the main speakers at this congress. In fact, she made a brilliant opening session this morning. I knew it would be talking in advance with Igor and all the people from ABTD. And Britt, considering your expertise and your experience with neuroscience and leadership, and considering your formation up to a PhD point, how did you mix everything and got to come here in training and development? Because you could be doing lots of things.
Yes.
So,
Well, I already had my PhD in leadership and learning, so I've always studied the intersection of that. But I was going through some personal challenges and I was learning about the amygdala and the role it plays in like dealing with trauma and when you have triggers and things. And the more I started to explore the neuroscience of us, I realized, wow, this really explains so much of how we experience the world and also how to help others. So I then started studying neuroscience. I don't have a PhD in it, but I read all the academic journals and I interview the scientists, and I realized, oh, there's very real applications from their labs that can give us insights for those of us who work with people and whose job it is to really maximize the potential of our organizations.
super. So, when I think in my formation or the way I came to learning and development, to training and development, to education, and when I see everything being done and being discovered in terms of how our brain works and how neuroscience can translate in business, in performance, in personal
Yes.
improvement. Uh, how do you see neuroscience as the real big answer we have nowadays to scientifically base all we do and all we can do in education, in training and development? Because people sometimes looks like I felt already the situation of being in front of a class and talking on the middle and stuff, and people look at me like, what is this crazy guy talking about, and how this is gonna make me do better?
Yes.
How is that for you?
Yes, I mean, for me, how I came to it was having that personal experience. My first book was actually about how the brain learns, so we can be better at designing learning and training for others. And when you really understand how the brain is designed to take in information, form memories, retrieve those memories, make habits, that when I started studying that, I realized, oh my gosh, we're doing a lot of training wrong. We're working against the brain. So that was my first book, and then we got acquired by LinkedIn. And I was certified in all the change management models, and none of them worked. And I thought, I just researched what the brain tells us about learning. I wonder what the brain does. Excuse me. I had just researched, how the brain learns, so I thought I'll go see what it tells us about change. And I was blown away when I understood there's very specific brain structures that get activated with change. And when I started sharing this information, people realized, oh, we need to be approaching change differently. And when you understand it, first of all, you're not confused by it. And second of all, you can be more effective at mitigating it. So then I realized, I guess I'm this lady who's now going to be translating neuroscience into the work we do in organizations. So the third book is all about how to create excellent teams.
Third book is this one.
Well, that's the second book, Wired
This is
to
the
Resist.
second book. You
I have
were just
four.
launching in Portuguese in here.
Yes, that's the second book.
Esse é um livro agora em português, o livro da Brit, o segundo livro. Ela estava já começando a falar terceiro, mas o segundo livro dela, lançado agora aqui no CBTD em português. Já dei uma folhada, estive na palestra, é muito bom.
Thank you. Obrigada. So then the third book is all about teams and how we create psychological safety and really enhance collaboration. And then the fourth book is on creating purpose-driven workplaces and how we make work meaningful for people. So I always bring a neuroscience lens, and then I look at typical issues that organizations are challenged by.
Super. And considering all this experience, how many years working with between companies, corporate world, different institutions, how many years?
More than 20.
More than 20. Perhaps we are about the same in terms of that, but if you look back to all your experience, can you remember a case where you had to apply most of your tools, and tell me a little bit about it, and what was the main challenge in the process? Because it's fantastic to listen to you, to read to you, but real life.
Yes.
I know this is real life, but
Yes.
real life applied.
Yes.
Things apply to real life. Where it goes well, and when we as in D people need to be careful and need to really take care to really help people.
Yes. Well, there's one challenge that I think a lot of us face, and it kind of happens all the time, which is the people who reach out to us, whether they're internal or external, and say, we have a problem, we need your help. They have pre-diagnosed the problem and what the solution should be. So they call you and say, we have a problem with communication. Do you have a workshop on that? And it took me a while to learn that I have to ignore everything they've said and start with a blank slate and ask a lot of questions. Because oftentimes they've misdiagnosed the real problem. And if I'd created a workshop on communication, even if it was fantastic, it wouldn't move the needle on the thing they're really trying to fix. So I now come into all of those conversations just starting fresh and asking a series of consulting questions to really get at what are they really trying to achieve, how will we measure that, who should really be involved, because oftentimes they want a training for 50 people, but really it's about 2 people. Well, then let's talk about that, right? So that's one challenge I think we all face. Another challenge is I think it can go wrong when the organization says it wants to change, but it doesn't really want to change. And so I've learned to kind of ascertain, and I ask more questions around, okay, are you ready to commit the time and the energy to this? And I can kind of show you what it's going to look like, but it doesn't just happen overnight, right? It's a journey. And so I've learned that if I'm picking up those signals early on, that the leaders are not really wanting to commit, that I should listen to that, because otherwise we get into it and then there starts to be all kinds of roadblocks. So I really like working with leaders who are ready to partner, and they know they have a problem that they need help with. They bring in a trusted expert to help them with that, and then we co-create that together. I really love working that way, and that's where the greatest success happens.
Super interesting. Last Wednesday,
Yes.
in our podcast, it was a kind of HR podcast, because we do every Wednesday on people, agile people is how we call it, and we have 1 week for human resources, one for T&D, etc. And last week we were talking about data and information, and got the first thing you just said. Sometimes customers call us with a kind of problem in their minds, and when you go really deeper on that, sometimes that's not the main thing.
It's not.
So
Yeah.
perfect point. And the last one, not to take much
Yes.
of your time, because you are the star here,
Okay.
and we don't wanna break it. If you have to give one advice, to say one sentence to managers, in your words, designers, trailblazers, guiders, different types of managers involved with people development and people performance. If you have to say one phrase to them, one sentence, where they should start from or what they really should focus on, what would be your piece of advice?
Yes. I'll see if I can get this into one sentence. It's really to understand that humans struggle with change, and managers and leaders can do several things to make that take less time and be less difficult, or they can accidentally make it worse by not being transparent or by not listening to people's concerns. So it's really understanding this is a biological reaction that people have, but when you understand it, you can be so much more effective, and then all of a sudden change goes way more smoothly and people are much more interested and focused on leaning into that change. That was not one sentence, but that's my idea.
So I just can be grateful for being with you,
Thank you.
for having this conversation. I thank you very much. I will not wish you success in here because you already got it.
Oh, thank you.
It's your first time in Brazil?
It is, and I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I
São
will be
Paulo, going to other places?
back. Yes, tomorrow I'm going to Rio,
Super.
and I've worked with 3 companies this week, so I've traveled to places outside of São Paulo. I'm very excited to work with the people here.
Fantastic. Wish you a very good stay.
Thank you.
Enjoy, and thank you very much
Obrigado.
for sharing your knowledge. De nada. Thank you. Welcome.